Namaste. Welcome to this little video about Surya Namaskara A. So the Sun Salutations A. A different variation from the Sun Salutations as the other video that you might have practiced already. So we're going to break this down again. First round we'll move very slow through all the poses and really break down every single posture to find the right alignment and to feel comfortable with the practice. And then afterwards we'll do a few rounds in flow just so you get a feeling of what it feels like to flow through the movements with the breath as well. So let's get started. Stepping in front of your mat and finding yourself on the top. Now classically here, our big toes are touching and the heels are slightly apart. So that's already a slight difference with the classical variation. So the big toes are together, heels are apart. If that feels uncomfortable, it's also fine to just keep a little bit of space in between the feet. So big toes together, heels apart. And we find a neutral position, slightly tucking the pelvis, making sure that the spine is straight. The palms are beside the body here. So the first position is this one, standing, resting, samastiti. So standing with the palms resting beside the body, first position. In second position, arms come up via the side, and the palms are touching, and we gaze up towards our thumbs. So our drishti, our gaze is up towards the thumbs, and we fully lift the chest. There is a slight back arch happening here, but it's only coming from the upper spine, so by lifting the sternum upward. And then after that, we bring the arms down via the sides, and the fingertips come in line with the toes. We bend all the way forward and down, coming into a forward fold. The next position would be halfway lift. So we come onto our fingertips and stretch the spine forward. If you feel it might be more supportive, you also have the option to bring them on your shins and slightly lengthen forward like that. So finding length in the spine by pulling the crown of the head away from your sitting bones to create space. And then after that position, we plant the hands down, and now we have a few different options. So from this position, what we will do is we will step or jump back in the high plank and then low plank. So the first variation of the first way that you can practice this is by stepping one foot back, stepping the other foot back, coming into high plank, and from there bending the elbows towards the body, hovering just above the ground, coming into chaturanga low plank. So that's one variation that we can practice. Another way to come into that next step is by planting the hands down and then simply jumping back. So when we jump back, we make sure that the arms are not completely straight, but we keep a little bend. That is to engage all the muscles properly. So either stepping back or maybe jumping backward and lowering down. Very good. After that, we come into upward facing dog. So we come onto the tops of the feet. The knees are off the ground. We lift the chest forward and we gaze upward, opening the spine, opening the chest. And from there, rolling over those toes and pushing the hips up and backward as we come into downward facing dog. Firm grip in the hands, having the feet hip distance width apart, maybe even having a little bend in the knees, just making sure that you can create a long spine. So the main action is lengthening out the spine rather than pushing the heels down to the ground. And we'll take just one more moment here. And then from there, again, we have a few different options. So either we bend the knees, we gaze forward, and then we slowly start walking towards our hands and fold forward. Or you have the option to jump forward. So for that, we would bend the knees, we would gaze in between our hands, and we would jump up and forward until we find ourselves on the top of the mat. From there, we go into halfway lift again. So we lengthen the spine forward, or maybe come onto those shins, see what feels most comfortable. And then exhaling, folding all the way forward and down, coming into a forward fold, soft knees if that feels better for the hamstring. Then lifting the arms all the way upward, palms touch, gaze up towards the thumbs, and exhaling, coming back to center. So that is one round. And just to get a little feeling of this practice, we'll do 4 rounds in a flow. Now with that jumping backward and forward, you can really choose what's most comfortable for you. And with the chaturanga, so with the low plank, try to make sure you're not hanging into the shoulder blades. So there's different ways of practicing that low plank. And one last option that you could use as well if it feels more supportive. So if you feel when you start going down, it's quite hard to maintain that straight line, then you're invited to maybe bring the knees down and from there come down. So it's important that we keep the elbows close into the body and that we're not sinking further down than our shoulders. So if that means that you bring your knees down, that's fine. Maybe you can stay completely here. So different options for different levels of experience. Just give it a try and see what feels best for you. Now coming into a little flow, we'll practice 4 rounds together in flow. Big toes together, heels slightly apart, standing, resting, Samastiti. Starting with Ujjayi breath now. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Making that slight constriction in the back of the throat and hearing that ocean-like sound. Then take then one more deep inhale on your place. Exhale, pull the fingers down towards the ground. Starting now, inhaling, raise the arms up, gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold and down, fingertips in line with toes. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, plant the hands down, step or jump back into high plank and low plank chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhaling, downward facing dog, pressing the hips up and backward. We'll take 3 deep and complete Ujjayi breath here. Inhaling into the upper chest. Exhaling, pulling the belly in. So inhaling, feeling that expansion in the chest, and every exhale, pulling that navel in, lengthening out the back of the spine. After the last breath, we gaze forward in between the hands, and then either we walk forward, or maybe we bend the knees and we jump forward. Then on the next inhale, lengthening all the way forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhaling, arms up, gaze towards the thumbs. And exhaling, standing, resting, Samastiti. Continue with the breath. Inhale, flow up, gaze up. Exhale, forward and down. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, step or jump back to low plank, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And exhaling, rolling over the toes, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Keep a little bit of space in between the feet. And make a long line with the spine all the way from the crown of the head until the sitting bones. Feel that length and spaciousness. Last breath. And then gazing forward and choosing again stepping or jumping to the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift, gaze forward. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, arms up via the sides, palms back, gaze up. And exhale, standing, resting pose. 2 more. Inhale, reach up, receive the breath. Exhale, give it back and fold down. Inhaling, halfway lift, lengthening. And exhaling, step or jump back, lower down, low plank. Inhale, tops of the feet, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and backward. Full and complete Ujjayi. Hear that ocean-like sound in the back of the throat, helping you to stay fully present with the practice and the breath. And at the same time, helping to balance out both inhale and exhale. Last moment. Bending into the knees and again stepping or jumping to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, gaze up, arms up. And exhale, Samastiti. Last round. Inhaling, pull the arms upward, elongate yourself, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, stepping or jumping back and lowering just above the ground. Inhaling, upward facing dog, lift the chest up and forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 last breaths here. Firm gripping the fingers, so not all the weight is going into the wrist. And remembering that you can keep the knees slightly bent if that feels better. It's okay if the heels lift up slightly. Taking the last moment here. And then again, bending into the knees, gaze forward, step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold all the way down. Inhaling, arms up, gaze towards the thumbs, lift the heart. Exhale, Samastuti, standing, resting, palms down. Close your eyes for a moment. Just taking a moment to observe and notice the echoes of the practice. Feeling the warming up of the body. And then slowly opening the eyes. Namaste.